This video did not appear in your life by coincidence. It found its way to you because some part of you was prepared to receive this message. That feeling that brought you here was not just ordinary curiosity, but a quiet connection to something deep inside you, like a forgotten promise you once made to yourself. For a long time, you have been carrying a silent weight, a kind of exhaustion that others may never notice. Not because you are weak, but because you have been walking through an invisible heaviness for much longer than most people realize. Every small decision you made to rise each morning, to remain present with your pain instead of running away from it, and to continue choosing yourself even when nobody recognized your efforts has been a powerful display of courage. Carl Jung understood that the inner self is not simply a collection of old memories stored away inside the mind. It is a living, active force that constantly moves you toward growth, balance, and becoming whole. When you choose to grow through your wounds instead of hiding them away, something within your subconscious begins to shift. It starts arranging experiences, moments, and unexpected connections that guide you forward. It may feel easier to call these moments luck or coincidence, but perhaps the truth is deeper than that. Perhaps the life you have been reaching toward has also been moving closer to you. If this message feels like it arrived at exactly the right moment, leave a like so it can find someone else who may need these words today. You have been carrying a quiet vision of a future that still feels unfinished. You have wondered whether your continued hope is a sign of wisdom or whether it is simply fear keeping you attached to something that has already changed. The truth is that you are beginning to understand the important difference between a hope that heals you and an attachment that slowly drains you. Right now, you are standing between two worlds. Behind you is a place you already know, a place filled with memories, lessons, and pain. Ahead of you is something unfamiliar, but also something that contains the possibilities you have been searching for. The tiredness you feel is not a sign that you have failed. It is the exhaustion that comes from standing at the edge of transformation. You are doing the difficult work of becoming someone new, and even if nobody else sees it, your effort matters. Jung described this inner movement as the transcendent function. It is the process where opposing forces within a person begin to communicate with each other. Your desires and your fears, the person you once were and the person you are becoming, the memories you still carry and the future that is trying to reach you, slowly begin to merge into something entirely new. This is not about choosing one side over another. It is not about destroying the past or ignoring your fears. It is about creating something beyond both of them, something that could only exist because these different parts of you were brought together through tension and growth. And this process does not follow the schedule you created in your mind. It does not happen when you finally feel completely prepared. It does not wait until every question has been answered or until every outside circumstance becomes perfect. Transformation begins when enough of the old patterns begin to loosen, creating room for something different to enter your life. And that process of letting go is exactly why everything may feel still and uncertain right now. The pressure you feel is not evidence that something is ending. It is the pressure of something meaningful trying to emerge. You are not truly trapped. You are not permanently stuck. You are standing in the middle of a transformation. And transformation is one of the most confusing places a person can experience because you are no longer the person you used to be. Yet you have not fully stepped into the person you are becoming. Many days, you have to move forward from this uncertain middle ground without a clear direction or map. I want you to truly understand this because it is one of the most important things you can recognize. This middle space is not a mistake. It is not proof that you made the wrong choices. It does not mean life has forgotten you or that you are falling behind compared to where you believe you should be. This middle space is actually where the deepest work happens. It is the most important part of the journey, yet it receives the least recognition because from the outside, it appears as though nothing is changing. People who are experiencing this transformation often look completely normal to everyone around them. They continue their daily routines, they complete their responsibilities, they answer messages, they laugh during conversations, and appear to be moving through life as usual. But what nobody sees is what is happening beneath that surface. Inside, they are experiencing a complete rebuilding of how they view themselves, what they believe they deserve, what love truly means, what they will allow into their lives, and what they are finally ready to release forever. Comment, resonate, if this message reached you at the exact moment you needed to hear it. Because this inner transformation is happening within you right now, and it may be the most meaningful part of everything you are experiencing. Now, I want to talk about the person you have been thinking about, the person whose name still exists in a quiet corner of your heart, the person you do not always consciously remember, but whose presence suddenly returns during unexpected moments. Maybe it happens when a certain song plays. Maybe it happens when a familiar kind of light enters a room. Maybe it happens when someone says a phrase that only the two of you once understood. I want to include them in this message because their journey is connected to this story as well. But they are not the center of it. You are the center. Still, there is something important you need to understand about them, even if accepting it feels difficult right now. Especially if the pain is still fresh, if the unanswered questions continue to trouble you, and if the silence between you still feels heavy, this may be hard to hear. They are also moving through their own internal process. A process they did not necessarily choose, a process they may not fully recognize, and a process they may not even know how to explain to themselves. What is happening inside them may be much more difficult than what they show to the people around them, because beneath the image they present to the world, they are facing a powerful confrontation between who they have been pretending to be and who their deepest, most authentic self needs them to become. That distance between the outer self and the true self is not something that disappears easily. It does not vanish simply by keeping busy, avoiding emotions, moving forward without reflection, or forcing themselves to feel differently. It is resolved through sincere self-reflection. And that reflection carries a familiar face with it. That face is yours. Not because you are supposed to rescue them, not because your own healing relies on their personal growth, not because you should put your life on hold until they finally figure themselves out. None of those beliefs are true. It is because you revealed something authentic to them during a season of their life when so much around them was built on performance, control, emotional distance, and carefully guarded walls. The authenticity you shared, the unique attention, emotional depth, and sincere care you offered did not disappear when the relationship shifted. It simply settled deeper within them. And anything that settles deep inside eventually finds a way to make itself known. In time, it naturally reaches toward the light, regardless of what the surface circumstances appear to be. I am not encouraging you to wait for them. I want to make that completely clear because I understand how easy it is to hear words like these and turn them into permission to place your own life on pause. That is not the message here. What I am sharing goes far beyond advice about waiting, reaching out, or remaining silent. What I want you to understand is that the version of yourself firmly rooted in your own growth, the person you are becoming right now through this exhausting in-between season, through all the invisible work that nobody notices and very few ever praise, that version of you is not standing in opposition to love. She is the very foundation that genuine love requires. The kind of love that never asks you to shrink yourself just to fit inside it. The kind that never makes you hold your breath, constantly monitor your behavior, or reshape yourself into someone more convenient for others to accept. Type yes if you would like me to explore Jung's wisdom even more deeply about what you are experiencing right now. The kind of love that can only find you once you are standing completely inside your own truth, without excuses, without pretending, and without carrying that constant background fear that another person's approval is what determines your worth. And you are much closer to becoming that version of yourself than you currently believe. Even if it feels impossible to see right now, especially because it feels impossible right now. The moments immediately before authentic transformation often feel nothing like progress. They usually feel like complete stillness. They feel as though life has gone quiet and somehow forgotten where you are. Jung often described this process in ways I return to again and again. He explained that the greatest changes in a person's inner world rarely announce themselves with loud signs beforehand. Instead, they arrive after a season of internal tension, a season that most people mistakenly interpret as failure, regression, or proof that nothing is getting better. When in reality, it is simply the necessary pressure of transformation completing its hidden work before the next chapter can reveal itself. A protective shell never feels like growth while you are inside it. It feels restrictive. It feels as though you are being held in one place until one day the walls finally begin to open. You are not failing. You are experiencing exactly the kind of pressure that comes before authentic transformation. And that pressure is intentional. It carries meaning. It has been building for precisely the amount of time it needed. Every part of this experience has been shaping changes within you that you will only fully recognize later when you are able to look back from the other side. One day you will revisit this season and finally understand what it was quietly preparing you for. But before that day arrives, I want you to trust something right now, in this very moment, before hindsight gives you the answers. Trust that none of the quiet effort you have invested has been wasted. Trust that every morning you chose yourself instead of your old patterns has mattered in ways you cannot yet measure. Trust that every private decision you made when no one else was watching, when the only reward was the quiet respect you earned from yourself for choosing what was healthiest for you, has been building something lasting, something genuine that is almost ready to reveal itself. There is one more thing I want to share with you about the person who continues to occupy your thoughts. And I want to express it carefully because I believe it matters deeply, yet it can easily be misunderstood. Your absence is changing them. Not in a dramatic way that they would openly talk about, but in the quiet way that true transformation always begins beneath the surface, in the part of a person that exists beyond their conscious control. The memory they carry of you is not frozen somewhere in the past. It is still alive. It continues to grow alongside the person they are slowly becoming. It brings questions into their life that the previous version of themselves never had to answer. It quietly appears around the edges of their thoughts during ordinary moments, and it remains there, not because it demands attention, but because its very existence has become the question itself. And that question quietly asks, who are you choosing to become? Are you making that choice consciously? Is the life you are building truly your own, or is it simply the version that once felt safest when fear was making every decision for you? Those are not easy questions, and they are not asking themselves those questions because they wanted to. Very few people willingly choose that level of honest self-examination. Instead, it finds them, just as this message has found you. And that examination somehow carries your presence with it, not because you intentionally created it, not because you owe them your patience, your healing, your progress, or any future opportunity they may someday hope for, but because genuine truth never becomes silent simply because someone decides to ignore it. Instead, it grows stronger with time. It grows even stronger in direct proportion to how much the person tries to suppress it. And they have been making a serious effort to push it away, which is exactly why it is beginning to show itself more clearly. But here is the most important thing. This is the part I want you to hold on to long after this video is finished, after this day is over, and after whatever happens next between you and this person, and between you and your own inner world. Your healing cannot be controlled by someone else's schedule. Your personal growth cannot remain paused while you wait for another person to reach the same place emotionally. That is not some imaginary idea. It is a fundamental truth about how the human mind functions. The fully independent and complete version of yourself that this entire experience has been creating cannot completely emerge while your attention remains focused on waiting for someone else to understand or change. Share this message with someone who may need to hear these words today. Because this moment requires your complete attention, your genuine dedication, and your deep trust in your own journey as the main story of your life, not as a small supporting role in someone else's story. You are the person at the center of your own life. You are the creator, the decision maker, and the one who chooses where the next chapter goes. And the beautiful truth, the feeling I want you to recognize beneath everything we have discussed, is that the more fully you step into that powerful position, the more you become the kind of person that a meaningful and healthy connection can truly find. You are not shutting love away by choosing healing and personal growth. You are preparing yourself to be recognized. You are not walking away from possibilities by becoming whole. You are becoming someone who is genuinely worthy of being chosen and valued. There is a future version of this story where everything you have been carrying, everything you have been trying to understand, and everything you have been unwilling to give up on comes together in a way that you cannot completely imagine from where you are standing right now. Not because anything in life comes with an absolute guarantee, because nothing is completely promised, but because you have done the kind of internal transformation that often creates the foundation for beautiful outcomes. Because life, regardless of how you personally understand it, often responds to the honest energy of someone who has decided to stop pretending, someone who has chosen authenticity over performance, someone who has become still enough to recognize what they truly desire, and courageous enough to continue believing in it even when external evidence has not appeared yet. Now I want to speak directly to the part of you that still feels uncertain and afraid. Not the confident part of you, because that part has been doing its best. That part has carried you through difficult moments, and it will continue helping you move forward. I am talking about the quieter part of you, the part that appears during late nights, during those unique hours when everything feels heavier and your thoughts become louder. The part that asks whether you have already waited too long, whether you believed in something that was never meant for you, or whether you invested too much of your heart into something that could never truly hold it. The part that sometimes convinces you that the real mistake was not about this person, not about that choice, and not even about the timing, but something deeper within yourself. The part that questions why you feel so intensely, why you love so completely, and why giving your whole heart has not always protected you from experiencing pain. I want to speak to that part of you with honesty and compassion, and I want you to hear this clearly. You did not make a mistake by feeling something deeply. You did not make a mistake by wanting something with your entire heart. The intensity of your emotions has never been the problem. It was never the thing that needed to be fixed. The only mistake you could make now is believing that your ability to feel deeply is a weakness instead of recognizing it as one of the most extraordinary qualities you carry. If this message is touching something inside you, write "awakening" in the comments, because this is not a flaw. It is not a limitation. It is a unique part of your inner world that allows the right kind of love, when it enters your life, to become something powerful, meaningful, and real. The right kind of love is never intimidated by depth. It does not run away from genuine emotions. It is built to understand them, appreciate them, and meet them with the same level of sincerity. And I want to leave you with something that I hope remains with you even when this video is no longer playing. You are standing in front of an important doorway. This is not the ending of your story, even though for a long time it may have felt like you were constantly experiencing endings. This is not a final chapter. It is an entrance into something new. It is the kind of doorway that appears only after enough of your old patterns have been released, creating space for something different to enter your life. It is the kind of opening that your inner self, in its own quiet and patient way, reveals when you have completed the growth necessary to step forward. And moving through this doorway does not happen with dramatic announcements, loud celebrations, or one obvious moment where everything suddenly changes. It happens quietly. It happens on a morning when you notice you feel slightly lighter than before. It happens through a moment of understanding that arrives without warning and settles into a place inside you that has been waiting for clarity. It happens through a small decision that seems simple but carries incredible importance. It happens through a conversation, a moment of silence, or a deep breath where you finally release something you have been carrying for far too long. And then more moments appear. More choices are made. More pieces begin to fall into place. Slowly, without needing your complete awareness and without asking for your permission, the life that has been quietly forming while you were healing, while you were standing at that doorway, and while you refuse to abandon the version of yourself that understands your true worth, begins to reveal itself. It starts becoming visible. It starts becoming real. And one day, you will look back at that doorway where you spent so much time waiting, the place that once felt like a prison, the place where it seemed like nothing was changing and no progress was happening, and you will realize something powerful. You are no longer standing there. You are standing on the other side now. And everything that once felt like endless waiting was actually the journey guiding you toward this exact moment. What seemed like delays were never meant to hold you back. They were part of the process of becoming ready. You are much closer to what you desire than you may even understand. This message found its way to you for a meaningful reason. Stay aligned with these words. Stay connected with your inner self. The next chapter of your life already recognizes your strength, your growth, and the person you are becoming. If something within this message reached a deeper place in your heart today, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Share the part that resonated with you the most. Tell me where you currently are on your journey and what this moment means to you. And if you still have not joined our free Patreon community, I would genuinely love to welcome you there because it does not cost anything to become a part of it. By joining, you will receive exclusive writings, deeper insights, and special material that I share nowhere else. There is no payment required, and the link is waiting for you in the pinned comment. Take a moment and join us today. I will be here, ready to meet you on the other side. Like this video, share the part that connected with your soul the most in the comments and subscribe for more messages that arrive exactly when you need them.